Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015 whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
Where we give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so you can keep up with everything that we do throughout the week. Don't forget, every Friday at 7 p.m. is the Friday Fix, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And on Sunday, 1 p.m., the Town Hall. One day we're going to name it. Shout out to our sponsor, Doc Loves the Kids. Don't forget to check him out. You saw the commercial in the front. We're going to put the logo down here. Sir Wesley, how you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm hearing that you're a little bit under the weather, man. I'm hoping that you pulled through and everything's okay, man. It's cool. You popped in yesterday to the live and made it happen with us on the live yesterday too. But so I appreciate you the perseverance that you're showing through all.
You got, like you keep saying, that's be consistent. That's not what he said in the text messages, folks. He said some very harsh words to me. Told me to get up. It was motivational. I wrote him a nasty letter. I tried to get him deported, but
not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
I'm a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
How the Trump administration moved to shut down the Consumer Protection Agency's headquarters. Over the weekend, some staff members at the Consumer Protection Bureau saw a sign of trouble to come. Windows in two basement conference rooms were covered with brown paper and blue painter's tape, concealing their occupants. Voices could be heard inside discussing cuts to government agencies. When the door was cracked open, there were young people with temporary badges. It was fresh evidence that the agency, which was created to protect Americans from financial fraud, abuse, and deceptive practices, was the newest target of Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. Now, the Washington headquarters is shut down for the week, and there are fears that it could be gutted like the U.S. Agency for International Development. Pictures of the conference rooms were viewed by the Associated Press, and the scene was described by two current employees who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they feared retaliation. The secrecy contradicts insistence by the White House that Musk is transparently fulfilling President Donald Trump's goal of downsizing the federal government. We look into this. There's a lot more to be read and things to be talked about. But this agency was responsible for getting back $21 billion, I believe, last year for the American consumer. I mean, this is basically our stopgap measure from companies being able to just beat us and get over on us.
This is this is the same agency that Barack Obama had them set up after the financial housing crisis. You know what I'm saying? Because they were, messing with America, giving us things that they knew were fraudulent, but we were taking it because it seemed like a good idea. I mean, they're just dismantling the government.
Loans.
Yes. And then, they had, I watched a video the other day where it was a federal employee and they're talking about basically they're like, we're having to do 15-minute interviews in front of these 19-year-olds that are making us explain why we should exist as federal employees. And so this is highly dangerous. This is why I say let this man have a third term. Because, we got out of his first term, our country was in shambles, and people didn't learn their lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to sit there and just blame Joe Biden for everything when and people don't want to realize it. It's that, whatever, and my aunt said it best, shout out to her. She was like, all the stuff that he's doing right now, you won't feel the effects for 2 to 3 years. Except for him getting rid of all this federal funding, you're going to feel that really quick. Really soon. And so it's just more dismantling. I mean, the whole thing is, Elon Musk is on a vendetta, or Donald Trump is on a vendetta, and Elon Musk is his sword right now. Because Donald Trump can't move around. He's like, hey, you go do it, because nothing happens without Donald Trump saying it.
Yeah, I mean, right now it seems like everything that they're doing is just for businesses, for their actual embetterment, not the embetterment of the American people. They said this agency saved American consumers $20 billion since its 2008-2009 inception. So this is just telling you who are you really targeting? Are you targeting bureaucrats, or are you targeting the American consumer? Because on top of that, you've tried to freeze other programs that help the consumer, whether it was farmers, whether it was kids in school, whether it was old folks. Whether it was senior citizens, or whether it was just people who had student loans. You know what I mean? We're trying to get student loans, attain student loans, to get education. I mean, right now it's like everything you're doing is to attack the health, education, well-being of the American citizen. You have done nothing at all to show us that you actually care. The Consumer Protection Agency actually is here to help us. You look at the things that's been going on lately. Now they have it so that airlines cannot put different line items inside of your fare after you try to book your ticket. I mean, there's other right now. There's even some two senators. I think it was Josh Hawley of Missouri, and I think it was Bernie Sanders. I think he's of Vermont. He's an independent, I believe. They're trying to put it up so where it's like a 10% credit cards can only charge you 10% interest, because some of them get out of control, 30%, 30. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
You
they
know what I
send
mean?
me those
So
all the time. They want 29.5% APR.
yeah, it's just, and so we need these type of things. These are type of regulations that work for the consumer, that work for the American citizen. There are, of course, there are some red tape that we do need to try and look at again and get rid of, but it's not these agencies and it's not these people. These are the people that we can call if there's something wrong. Who are you going to call now? Who's going to be the people that actually going to do something about it? We're going to just have to go on and write what is it called on when you go into the and write a review for the different.
Yeah, you can write a review, you can call your attorney general, but there's nothing that's going to be do about it. Done
At
about
all.
like think about the whole thing is now our country is going to be run by corporations, and corporations don't like regulations because
Oligarchs.
it stops them from making enough money. They don't like. I'm surprised they haven't lowered the working age yet.
No, they'll get to it.
They'll
They'll
get to it.
definitely
Yeah,
gonna
they'll be
get
like, hey,
to
if
it.
you're 10 years old, 11, hey, you can
You,
work.
you see what happened when the guy in Florida, he was a congressman in Florida. He was speaking about when they were talking about freezing the food
The food, yeah, he's
assistance
like, yeah, the
for
kids need to
kids.
go to work.
They need to work. I worked when I was in school. They're over here getting over on the government. Getting over on the government is what he uses. The words that he used. I worked when I was in school. I worked my way up through. Man, you're in high school. These are high school kids. You're talking about free lunch,
Oh
free
no,
breakfast for
no,
them.
they're not only high school
Elementary,
kids, high school, middle school, elementary,
elementary,
preschool.
K
You know what I'm
through, yeah.
saying? But
Period.
they expect them to work because back in the days when they hear their grandparents talk about, oh yeah, I've been working. I mean, like when I was a kid, bro, my first job I was 11 years old.
No, but the fact of the matter is, those were jobs that were available to you. There's no more
Yeah,
newspaper routes around here anymore. That's
no,
done.
nobody. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like grown
that's
folks are
exactly what
now
my job
working at
was too. It was a newspaper
mines too.
route.
We all had those. Those are done now. That's over with. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I mean, when you look at it, grown people are now having to work at McDonald's and Burger King because they're losing their jobs in the factories. Those factory jobs are no longer there. So they're having to have either first or second jobs in burger places. So it just doesn't make any sense right now what his administration is doing. I would love to have more people come on our show that we can talk to so I can get a real cogent conversation out of someone who can tell me what he's actually doing for the American people, because
Well,
I
that's
don't see it
to them. They feel like they think the government is too much. But like I was explaining to our panel on Sunday, and I don't know if you can see it in their faces when I started explaining to them, like, look, it may not affect you directly, but all
Mhm.
the people you like to go around, all the people that are just in your peripheral, around your in your world, in your kids' world, in your family's world, that's who's going to affect. Your day is going to change. You're not going to get to go home and just sit around and do nothing. You're going to go to a restaurant and be like, hey, they're closed. Well, why are they closed? Somebody, there's no regulations. They got said some bad meat. Somebody went in there, ate the food, shut them down. You know what I'm
Think
saying?
about
Like,
it like this. One of them was is a truck driver. He owns a trucking company. And so, I mean, that's going to affect you when people can't buy products. When you're getting rid of 100,000, 200,000 people, you're trying to get rid of hundreds of thousands of workers. How many millions, if not billions, are coming offline when you're looking at that many employees, that many workers coming offline? How much money is not being spent? Where are they going to get a job that's comparable to what they have in the federal government? And at the same time, it's not just they have a job in the federal government, they're just sitting around doing nothing. They're actually doing jobs that help people.
or
So it
what
doesn't
about
really.
this? What about when, the AI kicks in and all the truck drivers turn into AI because, and a robot doesn't have to stop.
At
They're
all.
going to put solar panels on top of that truck and it'll never have to gas up again.
Ever. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, electric gassing stations, eventually they'll be efficient enough where they can just run off of the electric, just from station to station to station, basically and they won't even have to worry about it because there's no waiting, because they already will know exactly what time this truck will be finished, charging, and it'll move right into the slot. And they won't need you. First, they'll need you in the passenger seat because everyone will make them that have a driver in the passenger seat. And eventually you're gone. And then you'll see that, because I'm hearing some people talk so negatively, like, oh, they should have made themselves a little bit more needed in the federal government, like made themselves indispensable. Well, these people are indispensable. We just don't know yet because we haven't had the opportunity to figure it out. And I bet that was the best thing for us. Our country's not doing well. They said that even with the Department of Education, one of our guests was like, the apartment, we're having some of the worst outcomes. Yeah, you said because they leave them up to the states. Well, maybe we should have some more federally, guided mandates where people are actually, because the ones who are doing the most failing are the ones in the red states. You guys are the ones dragging us down the worst when it comes to education and healthcare. So there's a problem. There is a problem. If when we leave it up to you, you want to worry about putting the 10 Commandments in the schools instead of over mathematics and science. That's what you're worrying about. Or did the kids know the 10 Commandments? Does he know his math? Does he know his math? Does he know anything about
Well,
history?
it kind of messed it all
What
up when
does what do they know?
when they started doing No Child Left Behind. That kind of threw off everything. I mean, like even LeVar Burton said that's why they got rid of the funding for Reading Rainbow because of that. Because reading was the last part. But the reason education is going down and most kids aren't as smart is the internet. You know what I'm saying? People can disagree, but let me explain this to everybody really quick. Yo, when we were young people, and I mean, I'm 42 now. If I wanted to gain knowledge, I'd have to go to the library or order a book and open it up and read it. You know what I'm saying? And so I would have that knowledge on me. Nowadays, they'd be like, okay, well, how many fish are 20,000 leagues beneath the sea? Google, tell me. And you'll ask Google, Google will tell you you're not keeping that information in. You know what I'm saying? So the way we receive information differently, so we don't have to hold on to it. So now people are allowed to be stupider. And you can sue people for stupider things. You know what I'm saying? So education has to change. It has changed, you know what I'm saying, with the internet. Now, the internet can give us better knowledge, but people aren't retaining the knowledge because before you had to make a quest to go get the knowledge.
Absolutely.
You know,